The Euphrates is one of the most historic rivers in the world, having played a role in many significant chapters of human history. However, everything is not well with the river, which has experts stunned by the pace at which it is drying up. However, the prophet is coupled with the drying up of the Euphrates River, which is more alarming than the declining water volume. The drying up of the river represents the end of the world in the main faiths of the globe. Seems exciting and mysterious simultaneously? So stay tuned to the unknown facts to know more about it. The Euphrates is one of the most important rivers in Western Asia, called a Frat in Turkish. It begins in eastern Anatolia and travels south through southeastern Turkey, passing through the provinces of Şanlıurfa, Dirman, and Gaziantep before crossing into Syria and then Iraq, before emptying into the Persian Gulf at Basra. After reaching the Tigris River in Chateau Arab Euphrates, the entire length is roughly 2,800 kilometers or 1,740 miles, including 971 kilometers or 603 miles in Turkey. The Euphrates River has two headwaters, the Karasu and Murad rivers, which converge somewhere around the Kaban district of Elazığ province, where the Kiben Dam, Turkey's biggest, exists. Another notable dam on the river is the Karakaya Dam. For thousands of years, the Euphrates River has been a center of human activity. The Euphrates River passes through the heart of Babylon. Seasonal flooding was reduced by high embankments on both sides. The Tai, Iraq's second great river, ran immediately north of the metropolis, connected to the Euphrates by a latticework of streams that irrigated the area, generating an agricultural bounty and adding to Babylon's unequaled prosperity. It was here that King Hammurabi developed one of the world's oldest judicial systems. 3,770 years ago, enormous walls were constructed, rich temples were built, and all of Mesopotamia was united. In 597 BC, Nebuchadnezzar II, perhaps the city's most powerful monarch, seized Jerusalem and marched the Jews into captivity, giving birth to the 137th Psalm stanza, which was transformed into a famous song by the rivers of Babylon. He also constructed the Hanging Gardens, which were considered one of the seven wonders of the ancient world, owing to its tiered, lavishly irrigated terraces. According to the Greek historian Herodotus, no other city rivals Babylon in splendor. Looking at the present condition of the river now, it may be difficult to realize that this section of the river was once a showcase of water management in Babylon, marching across the land of Babylon. Cyrus the Great led his troops to the canals dug between the Tigris and the Euphrates to circulate the latter's waters, which would otherwise flood the whole nation. When the snow melted on the Armenian highlands, huge canals the size of rivers flowed parallel with the Tigris and Euphrates, while hundreds of others crossed the valley joining the two streams. There was scarcely a dry spot in the whole nation. The canals also functioned as channels for agricultural transportation. In 656 AD, the river was functioned also as a passage for religious warriors who preached Islam across the Middle East. Ali ibn Ali Talib, the Prophet Muhammad's son-in-law, moved the capital of his caliphate from Medina to Kuf on the Euphrates south of Babylon. However, scientists predict that the Euphrates and Tigris rivers in Iraq will run dry within 2 decades. According to a study by the country's water ministry, less action is being made. The bad news is that these two rivers produce up to 98% of Iraq's water surface supply. Iraq might become a nation without rivers as soon as 24 hours. But what precisely is the issue with the Euphrates River that is causing it to dry up? It's complicated, but climate change, war, and indiscriminate dam construction in neighboring nations have all led to a water crisis that threatens the livelihoods of millions in the area. According to Berkeley Earth, a nonprofit organization located in California that focuses on climate research, Iraq's yearly temperatures are increasing at roughly double the pace of the rest of the globe. Since the late 1800s, the globe has warmed by an average of 1.3 degrees Celsius, whereas a crash has warmed by a stunning 2.5 degrees Celsius. However, the human-made element of the Euphrates issues starts more than 1,000 kilometers upstream in the river's catchment region in eastern Turkey below the Taurus Mountains. However, the drying waters of the Euphrates have had an unforeseen consequence: archaeological finds. Many of these formerly submerged locations are reappearing as the riverbeds dry up. According to scholars, the Euphrates riverbed has revealed 6 separate historical periods, including Sumerian Akkadian, Assyrian Greek Byzantine, and Islamic. Syria in 1968, the Euphrates Dam was built without diverting the Euphrates River to the desert, resulting in the formation of lakes. As a consequence, the Great Lake, which had a length of 100 kilometers and a width of 8 kilometers, flooded the river's most significant ancient monuments. Only a few monuments and relics were rescued. This region is home to countless graves as well as hundreds of Syriac Christian monasteries. When the sun shines and the lake water is clear, the submerged graves may be seen plainly. A few cemeteries have been found on the right bank of the lake in Raqqa's western district, but the left bank has now been studied as much as possible since it is rockier, making digging labor tough. The retreating waters of the Euphrates River in Anna, Iraq, covered the ancient city of Talps. In actuality, Muhammad Yassim and Iraqi archaeologists announced the discovery of at least 80 ancient sites. As a consequence of the Haditha Dam's reduced water level, the Department of Antiquities in Doha, Iraq's Kurdistan region, has also revealed the discovery of a 3,400-year-old Mitanni Empire city that appeared as the waters of the Tigris River basin retreated the city. It was originally known as Zakiko and was referenced in Babylonian books. It contains a palace and various other structures, as well as a big fence and cuneiform tablets that were uncovered. The researchers were amazed by how well several of the wolves, which were built of sun-dried mud and had been underwater for more than 40 years, had been maintained. This is most likely due to the earthquake that demolished the city, which converted the top portions of the walls into rubble, burying and safeguarding the city for millennia. In the early years of the empire, the Mitannis battled Egypt for control of Syria until the ceasefire was established with the Egyptian pharaoh Thutmose IV from about 1420 BCE until 1360 BCE. The Mitannis surrendered to the Hittite Empire, and the Assyrians swiftly took over the territory. Apart from that, the retreating waters in the Kap and Dam Lake on the Euphrates River, the province of eastern Turkey, brought the medieval Hestek Castle, which can only be accessed by boat, to the surface last year. According to Kogmas, the dean of the history department of Turkey's Euphrates University, the castle is supposed to be a pre-Christian temple. He stated that the castle is made up of 3 stories cut into the rocks, with Greek inscriptions on the interior walls. The discovery of historic sites and the retreating waterbed of the Euphrates River is not new, as the dam lake's water level plummeted in the 1980s. Maraibet, an ancient village mound dating back to the Neolithic period, was one of the most significant places drowned by the Euphrates Dam water. When Lake Assad was discovered, it gave insight into the region's agricultural development as well as the deification of women during the period. As a consequence of the river drying up, buried ancient sites in Syria and Iraq will continue to re-emerge. Meanwhile, not just environmental specialists are concerned about the Euphrates River drying out. This river has a unique importance in 2 of the world's most prominent faiths, Islam and Christianity, and its followers are paying great attention to the predictions associated with it. Many Muslims are reminded of several hadiths that describe the river Euphrates drying up, including that the river Euphrates would soon reveal the riches, the mountain of gold, and that anybody there at that time should not take anything from him. Sahih Bukhari, the Prophet Muhammad stated the hour will not come to pass until the river Euphrates dries up to disclose the mountain of gulp, for which people will battle 99 of every 100 will die in the conflict, and everyone among them would think maybe I'm the only one to survive alive. Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, according to the Prophet Muhammad, the Euphrates displays the richness inside itself, and whoever sees it should not take anything from him. The Euphrates will unearth a mountain of gold in its Sunan habit. Many of the prophecies given by Prophet Muhammad 1400 years ago, especially those involving indicators of Judgment Day, have come true, according to Islamic scholars. However, a prophecy involving the Euphrates River and gold mining has yet to come true. This is a critical prophecy because expected war is closely linked to the arrival of the Mahdi, and this is not improbable because the discovery of major gold reserves in the dried-up riverbeds can cause renewed civil strife between the various tribes in the area, as well as outside powers interfering in the region's business. Many Muslims are keeping a careful eye on the Euphrates. They do, however, receive a severe warning from the Prophet not to seek the deity. However, there have been numerous interpretations of these Euphrates River predictions. Scholars believe they may allude to a day when Euphrates conflicts will be as precious as gold. The earnings from the Euphrates dams might be represented symbolically by the word gold. Furthermore, significant gold and petroleum resources may be found underground when the Euphrates wart is drained, and such a valuable element may be uncovered following land subsidence, and Christians are anticipating no less havoc from events around the Euphrates River. Since Jesus Christ indicated that only God knows the hour or day of the second coming, his disciples have been speculating when it would happen, and it seems that the river Euphrates is the last piece of the jigsaw puzzle. Many people think that major passages in the prophetic book of Revelation demonstrate the Euphrates' relevance in end-of-the-world scenarios. The Euphrates River is referenced in chapter 16, which also contains the sole mention of Armageddon in the Bible. The sixth angel poured out his bowl on the huge river Euphrates, and its water was dried up to pave the way for the kings from the east. A voice commands the sixth angel of God, whose obedience unleashes agents of death who had been kept ready for this very hour, day, month, and year, had been released to kill 1/3 of mankind, and the clincher comes next in chapter 9, verse 11. John describes the leader of an army of locusts released to fight humans as Abaddon in Hebrew and Napoleon in Greek, both of which mean destroyer casualties. It will be high not just among wreckers, but also among citizens in adjacent nations. Other nations will grab the chance to pursue their interests, such as China seeking to reclaim Taiwan or India launching an all-out attack on Kashmir, ending in World War III. The eventual outcome might be a nuclear holocaust that kills 2 billion people, or the 1/3 of humanity indicated in Revelation, while another Bible expert has said that Turkey crossing the Euphrates River can spark end-of-the-world events. According to Revelation, the great Euphrates River will dry up, allowing the kings of the east to march their armies unhindered toward Jerusalem to take part in the final great battle against Jerusalem or Armageddon. And interestingly, the Ataturk Dam can be turned off, causing the river downstream to dry up and allowing the Antichrist armies to attack the Holy Land from the north. And you may be surprised to learn that there is a historic precedent for this. For example, Dan, the Euphrates in 1990 to fill the lake at a salt dam, an artificial reservoir. The scholar indicated that the technology currently in place to stop the flow of the Euphrates River might be another piece of the jigsaw that completes the fulfillment of the book of Revelation. That's all. Let us know in the comment box what you all think. Like and share with your friends. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.